Before I get into the meat of the matter, we have an insert for you, a quick one. Watch this.
He's Africa's rocket man. NASA engineer Ave Kluje has reached new heights in science, and he's inspiring people in his homeland.
Being born in a remote area or being born in some part of the globe that nobody knows about doesn't stop you from becoming anything in life.
When he was growing up, he was a very thin and lightweight boy who sometimes was blown by the wind. So I was more concerned about whether he was physically fit. But he behaved like a fit little boy, and he liked school. That was an interesting thing. And so I had a lot of, I knew he had promise. Of course, I would give advice here and there and directions here and there. Sometimes we disagreed. We wanted to pursue some courses. I would say no, even though I was not an engineer. But ultimately, he did it. You know, it's through his hard work, and that is why I'm so proud.
All right, so the extract you saw, the insert, is from CNN African Voices. I'm sure some of you saw it, and it featured my guest for tonight. He is an engineer and one that has received worldwide acknowledgement and recognition. If you punch his name into Google right now, for those of you on the internet currently, so many pages and pages will open up about him and all the wonderful things that he is doing. He works with the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, we call it NASA, in the US of A. And he's done a great number of things. Of course, I don't want to get into introducing him and talking about all the things he has done, because there's some of the things that will shock you so much, like commanding a spacecraft in orbit from the NASA control room. And I'm sure you would wonder how that works and all of that. Dr. Ave Kluje is my guest tonight. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
It's really good to have you in the studio. And of course, we saw your father in that insight as well. And for those who know, your father is a retired Supreme Court judge of the Supreme Court of Ghana, Justice Kluje. How come he couldn't influence you to become a lawyer?
No, my father had wanted me to be a lawyer. And you heard the extract. Basically, we debated quite a bit. But in any case, he supported my ambition to become an engineer. And both my father and my mother, Comfort Brempong, who lives in Dansoma, they were very, very instrumental in my education and my all kinds of inspirations. And
I see. So he did not force it on you.
Well,
he tried.
Yeah, my dad tried to influence me. Yeah, but he knew I was technically inclined as a young boy, so he took it there were some limits. Yeah, and I was, of course, law was the second degree, so I'm sure he always had the hope that I will
go
into law. Yes, I'll go into law after the bachelor's degree.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
the JD is a second degree.
Yes. So in the US. Yes. So he kind of gave me some room, and at least that gave me the chance to run away with engineering.
Interesting. At what point did you realize that really that was your line, your route or your route, as I'm sure you've become accustomed to saying in the US?
No. As a kid, I've always liked science. I was a very curious kid, and I grew up in Dansoma, Sahara, Atamwood, that's how we call ourselves.
I know the place where I was born in Dansoma.
Okay.
All right.
So we grew up there, and I was interested in science right from as a young kid. So I fix all gadgets and break them apart and all that. So I had that inclination. So reading science was almost natural to me because I didn't really like reading when I was young.
Okay.
Yeah, but now I read quite a lot and I write a lot.
Your father did not spank you for putting the radio sets and television sets apart?
Well, that was one thing that my parents did. They accommodated me. I knew they were not too happy sometimes, but they did accommodate my curiosities. Yeah, so they did not kill that ambition. Okay. Yeah, so they allowed me to explore a little bit, though it was at a very costly expense. Yeah,
to them. I'm sure that has all been made up for. But really, for those who may not know, what is NASA?
NASA is National Aeronautics and Space Administration of the United States. Actually, we go into space, and also not only space, but we deal with scientific innovations and activities on the ground. That's for the A stands for aeronautical planes and all those things. We deal in that. So NASA is really at the forefront of technology. We develop technologies that trickle down to people. Your car you drive, the body of your car is made out of fiberglass, NASA technology.
Right.
The mammograms we use to diagnose cancers and another technology.
Yes.
So whatever technologies we develop for our programs eventually trickle down. Cordless drills, we need that for the moon visit, and that one trickle down all over. So many of our technologies eventually trickle down to the ordinary man. So it's not only space, we service space as well, and then also humankind also.
I see. So that's what NASA does.
Yes.
But really, is it true that you are the first African to, command a spacecraft in orbit from the NASA control room? Is that correct? Because we've heard that.
Well, yes, actually, we don't know of anyone yet. Yes, I did that in about 1990s, mid-90s.
I see.
Yes, when I commanded spacecraft from at Goddard. So, and so far we have a few that may have followed, but at that time.
But you are the pioneer.
Yes, well.
For the African continent, I mean, at least. And that, for that, I mean, we say congratulations. What does it mean? But you haven't been to space, have you?
No, I've not.
Outer space.
No.
So you actually, how did that work? You were in the control room down on Earth.
Yes. In the control room, you tell the spacecraft what to do. So most of the spacecraft, we control them from the ground. Yeah, even the shuttle, that's why you see the Houston. You copy me.
Yes.
So they're on the ground and they are monitoring all events.
All right.
So personally, I started off writing programs to control spacecraft in orbit. That's how I started.
Okay.
So there are some spacecraft still up there that are using programs I wrote. And then I started controlling it, whereby you tell the spacecraft what to do. Turn this on, then bring this data down and all that. So and then when the spacecraft is sick, they get sick too. So things happen to them. So
I see.
I will try to resolve it. I may be called from home to come down to the center and do that. So I did that very well.
Like a medical doctor who has an emergency.
Yeah, just like a
report.
mechanic who fixes a car. So you know exactly what's wrong with the spacecraft. So I did that for years. And after getting a pretty good understanding, I started training people on how to fly spacecraft. So for a couple of years, I did that.
And what are the spacecrafts up there doing?
Well, they are for various reasons. We have some to monitor the weather. We have some for other purposes, and depending on the mission. So they could do anything.
And the one you monitored and controlled that made the news the first time, what was the spacecraft doing up there?
Well, it was trying to help us understand the climate and other activities here on Earth.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
so.
And you controlled it right from here. That's very interesting. But really, is there any other Ghanaian at NASA apart from you?
Yes.
Currently?
It's very, you have to understand, at NASA we have those who are government employees and those who are contractors.
Okay.
All right. So those of us who are government employees, we are NASA employees. Others may say they work for NASA.
Okay.
So for those who work for NASA, I know of another gentleman. We've not met, but I was told he's around. I don't quite remember his name.
All right.
But he's a real civil servant.
Okay.
So he's a NASA employee. The others work for us as contractors.
Okay.
So he may work at California, at the JPL, he could be a contractor. He could work at Goddard and this thing. So you really have to ask the question whether it's a contractor or civil servant. Yes. So I'm a civil servant. I'm part of the NASA. I'm a NASA employee itself.
Okay.
Yes.
How did you get in there?
Well, personally, I think it's just God's blessing. Because my intention was to come back to Ghana after college. So I was trying to figure out what I could do.
Was that Rutgers?
Yes, I went to Rutgers for my undergrad.
Right.
So my goal was to come back to Ghana and find something that was useful to do. So I started looking into solar cells.
Okay.
During its infancy.
Okay.
So I realized that it was an emerging technology and it was developing.
And what is that?
Solar power, whereby you could look at solar energy and how it could be used in various forms.
Okay.
So I had a professor who really was into that. So I did everything I could to become his friend. So I was always in his lab, and summer times I worked for him for free and all those things. So I got a very good understanding of solar energy. Okay. So my goal was to do solar fridge, solar air conditioning, solar everything. That was way back in probably late 80s, early 90s. So I was into that. So once I finished, I had a pretty good knowledge of solar cells, and most spacecraft use solar panels for their energy.
Okay.
So it happened that NASA was looking for somebody, and I got lucky and blessed, and I got selected.
So did you write to them?
Yes. When I was a kid, even here in Ghana, I used to write to them.
Oh, really?
Yes, yes. So when you come to my room in my mother's house in Dansoma, where I lived after my father left for the country, I had pictures on the wall, and some of them are still in the house.
And you were a teenager then?
Yes, I was a teenager, and I was just interested in the space program.
And you knew enough about NASA to write to NASA?
Yes, I normally go to the American Embassy to watch the news periodically.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I was fascinated with science. I wanted to be a pilot, so I was learning it in that flight, that flew, that fly. And so since the spacecraft was flying, I just wanted to study it and understand. So I used to write to them, so they send me pictures and all that stuff.
Oh, so they were responding?
Yeah, they were responding.
From
I still have
way
the letter.
back?
Yeah, the CNN, they just cut up that piece. But yeah, they saw the letters. The letters were still there. Fortunately, they were in my trunk.
Okay.
When I was leaving for the US, I packed all my stuff and they were still in there, yes.
Great. So you heard that they were looking for somebody at some point when you had finished
After
writing
college.
that?
No, actually, I just sent my application.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and actually, it was even a joke. Yeah, because a couple of my friends, we all felt that I wasn't, how do you call it, born in America, so that would not be possible. So I told them it only costs what? An envelope and a sheet of paper. And the West is what? They tell me no.
Wow.
And nothing changes.
Okay.
Yeah, but when I got an interview, I was very surprised. So I was so happy that I said at least NASA felt my resume was good enough.
Right.
And that was going to give me some bragging rights. Yeah, so, and I ended up being selected. So
And what year was this?
that was in 1995.
1995.
Yes.
And that's when you got into NASA.
Yes.
Wow, that's great. And having done so, and let me take you back a bit, and having been to Rutgers,
Yes.
where I'm sure you studied engineering,
Yes,
did you find your education in Ghana, which is at DeSadel College,
yes.
useful, or did you find yourself wanting?
No. Actually, Ghana gave me a sound education. Actually, very solid one. So when I went to the US, as any other Ghanaian or a young Ghanaian, I had some complex.
Okay.
Yeah, so the first semester,
Inferiority.
yes, well, not by complex, I felt that maybe they may be better than I am. So the first semester, I worked harder than any of my semesters. I did everything I could. And surprisingly, I did extremely well that term. So that gave me the confidence that, look, I can do it. So from that point on, everything took off. I was serious, I was getting my work done, and I didn't have that much problem after that. So after that point, we all earned mutual respect among each other.
I see.
Yeah.
And then you got in there. You finished A level at DeSadel?
No, I didn't finish O level.
You did O level.
Yeah, I did O level.
O level. So did you do some further education before Rutgers, or you just jumped straight
No, I
into
went to
Rutgers?
Rutgers, yes.
Directly with your O level?
I did a sixth form here in Ghana.
Oh, here in
Then
Ghana.
I went on to...
Which school was that?
Eastern. I went to Swedro Secondary School.
Oh,
for
I see.
16 years.
So pure, absolute Ghanaian education took you into Rutgers?
Yes, yes.
And you did well enough to go to NASA?
Yes. Actually, I went in and did very well. And actually, that's how I ended up in John Hopkins. One
Yes,
of the
because I
best
know you
schools.
did your master's in Johns Hopkins.
Yes, and that's how I ended up in John Hopkins. One of
I
the
see.
best schools.
What's the best schools in the world? And
Yes.
you went to Johns Hopkins in Washington, D.C.?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, because I visited, I know where it is.
Yeah.
It's a leading institution. And how did you enter that school as well?
Well, one thing my father always insisted on was good academic grades.
Okay.
So to stay in these good books and for us to get along, I had to satisfy that need. So he required me to have some pretty good grades, and I maintained that. So we didn't have too much problems with that. So, and then I applied to Johns Hopkins. You know, it's very competitive.
Absolutely.
But based on my grades and my various recommendations, I got in, and it went very well there too. Yes.
And you did your doctorate as well?
Yes, yes. Yeah,
Where?
I did my doctorate at George Washington University.
Okay.
Yeah, I did it in a record time.
But that's in Washington, D.C. as well?
Yes.
That's just down the road, near the Watergate.
Yes.
Not far from the Watergate
Exactly.
Hotel. Down the road. There's a filling
Exactly.
station down there.
Exactly.
I've been there.
Yeah.
So George Washington is just up the road, I remember.
Yep. So I did it there. I did it in record time. Actually, it's a record at the school. I did it in 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I finished my doctorate in 2 years. And my master's I finished in a record time, 6 months ahead of time. So, yeah, I went in, I wanted to get out, and I got it done.
So you did your PhD in engineering
Yes, in 2 years.
in 2 years at George Washington University? And that's a record, school record?
Yeah, it's a record.
I mean, someone is sitting out there, instead of saying, wow, he did it, I can do it, rather saying, no, I can't do it because he's special. He's different.
No, everybody can do it.
He's extraordinary.
No, everybody can do it. You just have to know what you are up to. And anybody, everybody can do that. You just have to know what you are in for.
You should just know what you are in for. I mean, the story is already phenomenal. It's great. And I want to get into the project that you started as a master's student at Johns Hopkins. Can you tell us about it?
Yes, at Johns Hopkins, that's one good thing about the school, is that your master's thesis has to be on something useful and practical.
Wow.
Again, useful and practical. So you have to solve some societal problem. And at that time, whenever I visit the post office, I will see missing children signs posted all over. I hear on the news old people with Alzheimer's losing their memory, walking around without any directions where they're going. And also, there were a lot of car chases. People would steal cars and the police would go after them. And in the process, they knock other people and create other accidents. So I said, how can I solve this problem? And at that time, most of you now, it's common, but that time GPS was not known. We are talking about the late 90s. GPS was not known. I used to fly spacecraft to understand how the communication system and everything worked. And also, most people didn't know how the people, how do you call it, the GPS works now, pinpointing locations places. And all that.
The global positioning system that we have.
And then how
these days on your phone, you can even tell you are sitting
where
at
you are. All these are new that to people. By that time, I knew those technologies exist. And the nanotechnology was also emerging. And I've been following it carefully. So I decided that based on all those knowledge and technology, I would propose that. So my advisor, I still have the email, said it was a very weird idea and he had to think it through for a while. So he came forward and said, let's go for it. So I decided to go ahead and design it, and a couple of years later, you see it all over the place. So the idea was to put it into your under your skin or your skull or somewhere in your bone, so that wherever you are, it could be traced, and even it could be used for electronic prison. Yeah, whereby you don't have to put someone who steals money or something in jail with hardcore criminals.
Maybe it's just a radius.
Exactly.
Don't leave your house. Or don't go step out of Kokomele.
Exactly.
And so after every point in time, we can monitor and make sure that he's within the radius and all that.
And if someone is dangerous, you can put it in and monitor his movement as well.
Absolutely. Or to say that somebody is not supposed to go to a certain house because of an estranged relationship.
Exactly.
Anytime he tries to cross,
a
system can beep and all of that. And we know. So was that put into use?
Yeah, actually, my advisor and I decided to put in a patent. Yeah, we did put it in, but down the road, I got promoted and I moved to Langley. And while at Langley, I started working on other missions.
Is that in Virginia somewhere?
Yeah, in Virginia.
Right.
So I started working on other missions. So once I started working on those missions, I just let it slide by. Yeah.
Oh. I see. So that system, which wasn't known as HULOS or something?
Yeah, I call it HULOS, Human Locator System.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So you have not developed it to its logical end so far. So, I mean, as it is, you left it at some point.
Exactly. It's been designed. So it's a matter of just picking it up. Yeah, and the only challenge that I had at that time was I was trying to use electricity generated by the human body. When you touch something, the way it sparks, to see how that could use that current to power it, so you don't have to be removing it or inserting new ones. So those were the only technical distances. But now I think there's a breakthrough in that also now. I hope that you'll go ahead to deal with that as well at some point, because especially for the stolen vehicles and the criminals and all of those things, I think it's a very critical matter. And but of course, as you say, GPS and all of that has developed now. So what is it that you do now today as you sit here? What engages your professional time? Oh, actually, I just led a rocket study for NASA. Yeah, trying to look at all the various rockets and look at the pros and cons and educate people on that. And actually, I ended up testifying before a Congress committee staffers to make sure that everybody understands what rocket does, what kind of rockets we have, liquids and solids, and their capabilities and all those things. So that was a major one.
I see.
And actually, I've been asked to make that available to the nation.
I see. So you actually present this before the U.S. Congress?
The staffers, yeah, the committee,
staffers,
yes,
the committee.
Yes.
And okay, so like a committee of parliament we have in Ghana, and presented to them to convince them about how it works.
Yes, actually no, they requested a brief.
They requested,
yeah,
I
because
see.
they had heard of it. Yes.
I see. You are 46 years old, I believe, or somewhere in that region.
Yes, I'm 46. I'll be 46 this month. Yeah.
Oh, you'll be 46 this month. Okay, happy birthday in advance.
Thank you.
And so, really, is NASA the limit? Is at the end? Because many scientists in America,
Yes.
who may go to Johns Hopkins or George Washington or any of the leading institutions in the world, may only dream about NASA and never get there.
Yes.
You've been there for more than 15 to 17 years or so. Is that the end? Is that a be all and end, or have you hit the limit? Is there nothing else to jump?
No. See, at NASA, I'm fortunate, and I must say that, and blessed, because I've been involved in very interesting projects.
Okay.
Very, very interesting projects. Like when the Columbia went down, we wanted to fly again. So they were looking for proposals as to how to solve the problem, that the root cause, some of the problems that caused that. So a team of us got together and developed a camera, designed a camera that could be used in checking the shuttle before it launches. And that camera, when the shuttle was going up, that was the camera that you see around the camera. And that was an interesting project.
Okay.
And there are several of them that come over and over again. So after about 6 months or a year, I move on to something interesting. So I never get bored. So it has been an interesting experience. And I see things that most ordinary people will never see. So that is very interesting when you...
And you sure you can keep doing this for the next 46 years of your life? Without getting bored?
No, actually, like I said, these days what I do, it keeps me busy. Because flying the spacecraft, after a while I got tired of it, yes. But in this particular capacity, I run a lot of programs and projects, so that makes it easier to kind of stay busy and also always having something new and exciting.
You're watching Personality Profile Friday on PM Express, and we are having a conversation with an extraordinary son of Ghana. Even if the Americans would like to call him one of their own, he still belongs to us. He bears our name. He was born in Hoho in the Volta region. He grew up in Dansoman, Sahara. And of course, as you know, I'm sure he can rattle the local languages, or a number of them, if the need arises. But really, he's doing phenomenal things for himself and taking our name very, very far in that purpose. And we'd all like to know him a little more. There is another insert that we have on him, and I think it's a good time to take it. Watch this, and we'll take it from there. So here we can see you at NASA. And what's happening here now?
Well, we're looking at some spacecrafts.
Okay, so you need to explain this to us a bit. What's happening? You need to take us through the pictures.
Well, this is basically a rocket taking off, trying to deliver a payload. That's a spacecraft.
Okay.
And into orbit.
Okay. I see. And so what's the concentration going on here about?
Well, yeah, it involves a lot of thinking and, yes, trying to make sure that things go well.
But tell me, really, and this is a question many will be asking, do you think that that picture we saw is a realistic one for Ghana? That at some point in time, because I'm sure Kwame Nkrumah, our first president, had these ideas. That's the reason why we have the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission there and all those ideas about setting it up and all. And these days, people sit in Trotro and say, I want to get off at Atomic without knowing why that place is called Atomic. I'm sure these are some of the reasons that he put this up, thinking about producing friendly energy, so to speak, not for warring purposes and all. But do you practically see Ghana having such a thing with you standing there sometime with your arms crossed like you had done, watching a spacecraft go into the air from Legon?
Yeah, Ghana just launched a spacecraft, a space program.
Okay.
They just launched it this week. And I happen to be one of the distinguished guests, so I happen to be I was at the function.
Okay.
And I would like this anyway. I'd like to take this opportunity to congratulate Ghana on behalf of NASA for taking such a bold initiative. Okay. Yeah, it's a very great accomplishment indeed, because to run, you first have to start sitting down as a baby, and then you take the steps as you go along. So with some clear guidance and some clear support, Ghana might also be able to go into space and do anything.
But do we need it as a country?
Well,
what would it do for Ghana if we were to go to space?
Most people don't appear not to understand the benefits of the space program.
Right.
I mentioned it earlier on. The space program is not only going into space. The space program involves developing technologies that make our life better. We have water purification systems that allow us to filter water and have all those things done very well. We also have satellites that will tell you about areas that are becoming arid, those that are rivers that are dying, and all those things. So when farmers know those things, they will be able to plan their planting seasons carefully. So those things give us knowledge and ideas that most of the time we may not even know. And most farmers really, and even ordinary people, like you using your cell phone, you've never thought of NASA.
Sure.
But of course, NASA is touching you. Like I said earlier, a woman goes to the doctor to have this examination to see if any cancer or anything is occurring. You use another technology. Your car you drive, the fiber, the body of the car is from fiberglass,
Right.
and even your kid's school bag,
Yes.
NASA technology. The Velcro,
Yes.
NASA technology. So the technologies in space normally trickle down to the society. So if Ghana were to go into that kind of line of activities, eventually the products have to be linked to the society for the society to see the benefits of the space.
So the
program.
everyday things that we use, you're saying that all that had to do with NASA, and a lot of us don't know.
Yes.
The vehicles we drive, like you say, the cell phones we use.
Yes.
I'm sure sporting equipment.
Oh, quite a lot of them. NASCAR and all. Yes, yes.
NASCAR and all of those
Yes.
things. I don't know about the rims and basketball. I mean, things that we do. NASA is involved in all of those
Yeah, the
things.
materials trickle
mammogram.
down. Yeah, they trickle
trickle
down.
down.
Yes, because we may do it for space application, but they may
Right.
have other uses.
Okay.
And that is how the general population benefits from it.
So that's the benefit of NASA. And you think that if Ghana gets into this, then our economy will also have an effect.
It should be able to solve it. They should try and steer it towards solving socioeconomic problems as well. So in that case, it will only not be going up in space and just looking at the stars or whatever.
Right.
But at the end of the day, going to space should be the climax. But other activities should trickle or impact the society and the ordinary man.
Some say it will just remain a pipe dream because seriously, we don't even have the money to think about going into space.
Well, that one, I cannot speak because I don't live here. So I may not be able to comment on that.
Because it must be a huge venture in terms of finances and capital for NASA to even be daring to do these things.
Yeah, for NASA, it's a good investment, and actually the American people, we've benefited from it, and we continue to benefit from the space program. So countries that venture into space also have benefited. So I don't see why if Ghana should take it serious and really go in very well, they shouldn't see some benefits.
Back to your dreams as a growing child. You wanted to become a pilot,
Yes.
but you did not. And in fact, what CNN said was that, quote, he was not able to fulfill his childhood dream of being a pilot, but Ghanaian scientist Dr. Ave Klugye has arguably gone one better, developing and flying spacecrafts for NASA, unquote. Do you still look back and wish that you didn't have to wear glasses, for which reason you could be a pilot?
No. Now I have not. I don't really look back. Actually, I've had a chance to work on airplanes. Like I said, the second A in NASA is for aeronautics.
That's right.
So I've had a chance to understand how airplanes work. Actually, I have a pretty good understanding now. I understand almost pretty good this thing about airplanes. It's not only going rockets and the rest, but NASA deals with that.
Okay.
So at Langley, I had a chance to deal with aircrafts and other things. So though I didn't pilot one, now I understand how they work, and I've been involved in activities that try to improve it.
So that has put that dream
Yeah, that put that dream to rest.
to rest for you. Yeah. But were you disappointed when you first noticed that you could not become a pilot? And it's just had to do with your eyesight, is that right?
Yeah. As a kid, I was disappointed. Actually, I was doing geography in addition to my courses because they said you need geography to become a pilot. That's what I had. Okay. So after I realized I couldn't, I went and dropped the geography. I didn't need it anymore. So I ended up with 7 courses.
Oh, wow, for O-level.
Yeah, instead of 8.
So you did 7 courses too. I decided for that reason. I see. But what did you ever think you'd become an engineer? I mean, what was the idea behind a pilot? The pilot is not so much of an engineer, is he?
Yes, it's not.
So to speak, right? So for what you were growing up and opening up television sets and radio, why would you want to be a pilot if really engineering is what was your thing?
Well, when I first saw planes flying, I was fascinated by what made them go up and stay up. So I felt that I need to know, or if I can't understand it, maybe I could fly it, and with time I may understand it. Okay. So I just got interested in it. See, when I was growing up at the Kotoka airport, you could go upstairs and stand in the gallery and watch the planes.
And actually wave at your relatives that were leaving.
Yeah, so normally my parents normally took us there, and I really liked it, those trips. Okay. You know, I still remember them. Yeah.
So that's how the interest was triggered.
Exactly.
That's how the interest was triggered. But let me take you back a bit. So you were born in Hohoe.
Yes.
And what do you remember of it, growing up there?
No, I had a very happy life in Hohoe. It was a very developing town.
Okay.
Yes. When I was born, there was no electricity, there was no water.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and of course, death road and all those things. And my grandmother and others were around, and it was a very enjoyable time.
So you started school there?
Yes, preschool there.
Okay.
Yeah.
For how many years were you there?
I was there till the age 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and my brother, or my late brother, Tivo Kluje, he was 3 years ahead of me, so he started regular school down there now.
Down there. So you left after age 5 and went where?
And came to Accra.
To Accra.
Yeah.
Okay, and which schools did you attend?
Well, we went to Datus.
Datus?
Yeah, Datus.
In Dansoman?
Yes. We went to Bubuashi first, then Dansoma, when they built the Dansoma.
When they built the Dansoma, you transferred to Datus.
Yeah.
Did you have fun as a little boy in Datus?
Yes, yes. I really enjoyed it. I have very good friends up to today that we still once in a while get together. Yes.
So you took the common entrance at Datus?
Yes.
And gained admission to Adisadel?
Yes.
Okay, and really, Adisco established in 1910, I believe. Yeah. My father's own school, so I know a bit about it.
Yeah.
Well, primus, welcome primis, or so is your school motto. Either the first or with the first.
Exactly.
And you have demonstrated that in your lifetime. What are some of the what do you think Adisadel gave you that has really brought you here?
Adisadel gave me what we call the can-do spirit. And most of you are familiar with the Colossians.
Right.
We have the can-do spirit. So the Colossians don't give up. And also we have some inner confidence that the school brings in you. Right. So when you meet the Colossians, the first thing you see is their confidence and their ability to believe in themselves. And this school gave us all that.
What house were you in?
I was in Hamlin House.
Hamlin. So I'm sure the Hamlin boys are screaming right now because they say that they did it. Did you participate in anything in Adisadel? Because it's a major sporting school as well.
Yes,
you play hockey, you play cricket, athletics, and all of that. Were you involved in any of those?
Yeah, I was very feeble, as you could see. I was very skinny at that time.
And your dad said the wind could blow you out.
Yeah, at that time. But however, I played soccer.
Oh, I see.
And actually, boxing, I had some titles to my credit. Anyway.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You actually boxed? Because I know that boxing was a serious trade in our disco.
Yeah, so I won a few matches. So.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
But you didn't lose any?
Not that I remember. Not that I can remember at this point. So, yeah, but I won a few of them.
You won a few of them. Yeah. I see. Disco must have been exciting for you. I mean, yeah. But really, do you remember much about of Swedru Secondary?
No, not much.
Not much.
Not much. Yeah, because I just went the sixth form and left briefly. That time, it took a while to transition. Disco was where I had all the
formative and the developmental, you know, and you got it there.
Yeah, I want to mention that Swedru, there was one instructor, Mr. Otuansan. Yeah, I never had a chance to really thank him, but he was somebody who really touched me. He may not know that. Oh, okay. Yeah, I hope wherever he is, he will know that whatever he did, and he knows what he did. Right. It really helped me to see me through. Yeah.
That is great. Your father also went to a disco?
Yeah. My father and my brother, we all went to a disco.
Oh, I see. So it was your father's influence, basically?
Yeah, I had a choice. They gave me 3 schools, a disco, Motown, and a Fansborough. And of course...
So you had the opportunity to go to my school?
Yes, but...
And you turned it down?
You know exactly that what they were telling me...
A disco in Fansipim, Achimota?
Yeah, they gave me all those...
You should have gone to Achimota.
But my brother was there, and everything I heard about a disco... showed that that's the best way to go. So I ended up going to a disco.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and no regrets.
Oh, absolutely no regrets. I mean, you cannot regret it. That's a great thing that happened to you. Let me ask you a very important question, I think. Do you think that today,
Yes.
somebody born in Hohoe,
Yes.
somebody who has 5 years of education there, comes to Datus in Dansoman, goes to Adisadel College, has 2 years, a 2 year stint of, or if I could call it so, in Suedro, can move up onto Rutgers, then move on to Johns Hopkins University, which is one of the leading institutions in the world in Washington, D.C., move on to, what do you call it, George Washington, or any such schools. I'm just using your schools as an example, and make the impact that you have made on the world. Do you think that it is today available in the Ghanaian, honestly?
Yes, I believe it's possible. Actually, it's really doable, because when I was growing up, I never saw a computer. I first saw a computer in the U.S., my first day at school.
I see, after you had finished A-level.
I've finished everything. I've only read about them. I never saw a cell phone. Okay. That time there were no cell phones.
There were no cell phones, that's a matter of fact.
The internet was not even, had not even been invented, so we didn't even know of internet. So we have to go through hard physical books to get knowledge.
Okay.
So these kids have all these gadgets now, or this technology now at their disposal.
Right.
So they have a better, they have a much more better advantage than we have, our time, our generation. So I expect that they can do better if they stay focused and pursue dreams that they really believe in.
So you think these are actually better times than they were for you?
Yes, because look, I didn't know how to type. So when I was in college, I have to beg my friends to type for me so that I can also do something else for them. Yeah, because I just didn't know how to type. And now they all use this computer, they know how to type. And I'm sure if you went to school in the 80s here in Ghana, typing was not part of our curriculum.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I didn't know any of those things. I didn't know how computer works, so I had to really learn computer in school. And fortunately, one of my degree was also in computer engineering, so I ended up learning it.
But some people may really take you on this view you share, that you think that today's pupils and students perhaps are better positioned to achieve what you have done than you had in your time. Because many don't see science developing really the way they ought to in Ghana. I don't know how familiar you are with the local terrain and what you are doing in participating in something like this. But really, it's a view I've had.
Yeah, science, since I was a kid, people consider it as a difficult field. But actually, it's really not. It's just an interest. If you really develop the interest within your children, the young ones, at a very early age, they will pick that up. So having these additional tools, whereby you can go on the internet, like you now, you just went on the internet, you were able to read about anything or about anybody quickly. Those days,
I've just read about Neil Armstrong.
Exactly. Those days you have to go in and read, go to the library or borrow a book or whatever. So now you have those things, information at your disposal. So if you really stay focused, science is difficult. It's always been the same. Science has not changed.
Right.
Yeah, science has not changed in a long time. So these kids have it, but I don't know the curriculum here that much because I've been away for a while.
Right.
But I believe that if students are really, the interest in science is really galvanized or facilitated in such a way that students can see themselves doing it and not be afraid of it, I think that they could do anything.
How do you think you can directly impact the young and upcoming science-biased or interested students in Ghana? Because really, I'm sure many look up to you. They're not just those in science, but really there are some who really like to do things. Not just necessarily go to NASA, but really be able to give vent to the talents within them. How can you impact on their lives?
Like a show like this. Normally, when I come to Ghana, I sometimes come very quietly and leave. But this time, when I was asked to do this interview, I decided to do it because I feel this is one of the methods by which I can impact the young, telling them that I was born here, I ate Yokogari, I played Kaskele, I did all those things that they are doing now.
Right.
So if I can get to NASA, and actually I wasn't the super best in my class. So there are others who are much, much better than me even here now as this kid. So they can also do anything I have done. The only thing is that you have to stay focused and work very hard. Yes, hard work will always pay off. So if they do that, they will really do. And I've been involved. Like next week, Monday, I'll be at Kivas. I'll be at Odogono in another school, trying to talk to the students and ask me the questions. I'll come to their level. We'll talk about anything they want.
That's great. There was this project President Bush really wanted to see happen. Is it something to do with Mars, the planet? And you were involved with it, I believe.
Yeah, every NASA.
Yes. What was that about, and what was the aim?
That was initially the President Bush's idea of going to Mars, Moon, and beyond. But since President Obama came, the direction is different. We are trying to develop capabilities and be able to go to an asteroid and go to other places. Yeah, have the capability to go elsewhere. So as you could see, the end of the shuttle era is here, and a new era is emerging. So this is really an exciting time for NASA.
Dr. Ave Kludze. Just go to Google, as I keep saying, and read the pages and pages on his life and get inspired, because really, like he said, he ate Yoko Gari, he played Chaskele and all this in Dansoman and places like that in Hohoe in Ghana. And today, here he is, sitting at the top of the knowledge of science, record time, PhD, 2 years, George Washington University, finished his master's program at Johns Hopkins University in Washington, D.C., 6 months ahead of time. And this man did all his secondary education in Ghana. He says you can do it too. You have a family, I believe.
Yes.
We all know your father. I mean, I'm sure some will be hearing it for the first time. Justice A.K.P. Kludze. Yes. Retired Justice of the Supreme Court of Ghana. One of our most distinguished. It's your father. And somehow you say he tried to influence you to become a lawyer, but he did not succeed. Here you are. I'm sure he's very proud of what has happened to you. You mentioned your mother as well. You said she's still in Dansoman?
Yes, Comfort Brempong. She's still there. I just came from a place.
Oh, I see. Comfort what?
Brempong.
Comfort Brempong.
Yes.
I'm sure she's a very proud mother.
Yeah, I'm proud of her. She played a major role in my life. Yes. So,
wow.
Yeah, she used to teach us math as well.
Great. How old is she now?
Mother is in her 70s.
And your dad is in the 70s too?
Yeah, they are both in their 70s. Yeah.
Wow. Great. So you said you lost a senior brother?
Yes, my brother.
Were you two?
Yeah, we were two boys. Yeah, my brother, he was a lawyer.
Oh, I see.
Ativo Kludze, yes. He died in 2004. Oh. Yes. We all went to a disco, and he was a science student and eventually became a lawyer. Yeah, he followed my father.
I see. Great. But you have a family of your own. You're married?
Yes.
You have children?
Yes.
I see. That's super. We have some messages here. Let's begin to take some of them. Right. This one says, congratulations on your achievements. We are proud of you as a citizen of Ghana and GBI. I don't know what that means. But it's from Toby. Yes.
B. That's the traditional that was. But that I'm
you are from B.
Yeah.
GBI. That's where you're from. Okay, okay. So he's saying he's proud of you as a citizen of Ghana and of B. That's Togbi Ajima the Fifth.
Yes.
Who sends you this message?
That's a relative as well.
Oh, it's a relative.
Because my great grandfather founded that town.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
There you go. Last time it was an elder girl who had chartered. Okay, yes, we brought a young 21-year-old girl, chartered accountant, youngest female ever. Today, excuse me, today too is an elder aeronautical engineer. Are you saying that only Evers are smart? That's from Sam. Oh my goodness, I can't believe this message. We are saying that we don't look at where you're coming from.
Yes.
We just look at what you have achieved. If you happen to be Evers, so be it. If you happen to be Gang, so be it. If you happen to be from where you are from, Sam, so be it. We are Ghanaian. For me, that's the most important thing. Please, is he a U.S. national? Oh, that's an interesting question someone wants to know. I think he's trying to ask whether you hold citizenship of the U.S.
Yeah, I'm a U.S. citizen.
Right.
And, yes.
Okay. The interim Malian Prime Minister, this is the same texter, is Atipo. The interim Malian Prime Minister worked with NASA. I thought he was the first African to command a NASA mission. This is from Atipo.
For Sal, I think Malian. What's his name?
It says interim Malian Prime Minister. We'll have to.
Actually, I don't know. I've not heard of him. Yeah.
So you don't know about what he's saying. All right, Atipo. There you go. And as he's saying again, there's you give us differences.
You have to know whether he was a contractor or
absolutely
civil servant. Yes.
Absolutely. But you are a civil servant.
Yes.
Has Dr. Kludze ever met Professor Alote? I ask this because I understand Professor Alote is or was with NASA. Ransom John K. Manson in Kwanta in Ashanti.
Yes, actually, I met him. Actually, I met Professor Alote just this Tuesday. He and I met, and actually, we plan on meeting again in course of my visit.
Okay.
Yes.
And it's asking about Professor Alote coming to NASA. I don't know if it's also a question about him working there, or he's talking about him visiting or doing some work there.
Probably visiting. I don't think he did work there. He would have told me.
Okay.
Yes, when we met, you would have mentioned it.
Please ask how I can get there, because I also have a similar gift. I think that's the advice you were giving, basically. He thinks he's as gifted as you are.
Just work very hard and make sure that you stay focused. You may have people who will tell you can't make it. Those are dream snatchers. Stay away from them. Yes.
Stay away from dream snatchers, people who tell you that you can't make it.
You can't make it. Yes.
I love that. May I know from Dr. Kluge whether he will be willing to help in Ghana in an appointed or elective position?
Now,
Politics,
to
put it simply.
I think that Ghana has some pretty good citizens, and I will, in my capacity, the way I'm doing, try to impact Ghana from a distance. And because I've been away for too long, and coming in with my ideas may not necessarily be the best for Ghana.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're not saying yes, you're not saying no. It depends on the situation. Sheikh Modibo Diarra is the name of the interim Malian Prime Minister. The question that Atipo asked us. Do you know that name?
No.
You don't. What could he do to help young Ghanaians develop their talents? That's KB in Tamale. Again, as you said, holding the seminars that you're holding when you are here and all of that. But somebody has another question for you. Bravo, please give me your number, both foreign and local. I don't know whether he wants to do that. This one says, God bless Dr. Kluge for coming back home. We pray that he will impart his knowledge in Ghana. From Mr. Sapong, Ghana Health Service, Koforidua. He's not here to stay, but he's visiting and trying to help the society. This one says, Ave, you are too great. We Ghanaians are proud of you. Esther from Tamale, Gurugu. Doctor, I really admire you. Keep the flag of Ghana flying high. That's Abanga in Tamale. Doctor, may Almighty God grant you long life. Please, can you kindly open a company in Ghana to train the youth to become like you? That's Peter in Kumasi. He wants you to train people hands-on in Ghana. Is there a possibility for that?
No, I'm trying to work with the schools and try to impact them. So I've been trying to set up some STEM program, but there's been some challenges, and I'm still working on how to resolve it. Yeah, so with time, I might be able to have that kind of capability for students and other things to learn from.
Okay. This one says, God bless you, Mr. Ade, for this wonderful program. We love it. That's from Abalore Emmanuel Jenejene. I know it's pronounced Jenjene. Senior High School in Brekum. Yes, you should thank the production team if the credit doesn't go to me. How can I become like you? I am a boy. That's what someone says.
And you can become anything.
Right.
You can become a rocket scientist just like myself. You can become a great lawyer, anything. You just have to find what your niche is and focus on it and work very hard towards it. Give it your best shot. At least shoot no longer for the sky, but shoot for space. So that when you miss, you'll be floating in space as a star.
Interesting. I have inventions and I need to talk to Dr. Ave Kluge in private. This is James. Where can he meet you? Because you said you're also going to some places, Cape Coast, etc. If you had the dates, at least we probably could meet you.
Yeah, I'll be in Cape Coast on Monday. I'll be giving a talk at Cape Vaz.
Okay. Monday is the 7th of February.
And I'll be here in Accra. I'll be here in Accra. Yeah, I'll be here in Accra on Tuesday also.
Where in Accra?
I think Odogono.
Odogono Secondary School.
Yes, I think I'll be there. Yeah,
okay. Tuesday. So James, that's the information for you. Tuesday the 8th of May, Odogono Secondary School. You can catch Dr. Albert Kluge right there. We have a few more messages, I'm sure, and we'll take them as and when we are able to take them. But really, I don't want to think that this is a controversial question, but could you have become this great if you had stayed in Ghana?
That's a tough question.
I know.
But I don't know. In life, you can never tell. Because I had something that my parents gave me, the willpower and determination. I may not have become a rocket scientist. I may not have become a NASA engineer. But I believe I would have found my niche somewhere in Ghana where, or wherever I go, I will give it my best shot. And that's what our disco taught us. Either the best or with the best. So the first or with the first. So that was really instilled in me, both at home and at school. So whatever I did, I would have given it my best shot.
Foga Desdedi Nukunu says, Efo, I am just amazed. May God richly protect you. All right. Interesting way to put it. May God richly protect you.
Thank you.
Having heard it put that way before. Okay, all right. So I've read some of these things in printed form. So we'll move on. And Ghana, you are now a U.S. citizen, as you say. And I'm not talking national. and all, and you do your best to come back, as you say, to help with some clinics and all, some projects. But really, I'm interested in the little boy who sends a message and says he's a boy, how can I become again? You give him all the advice. But Doc, at a practical level,
Yeah.
there are people in places where, like you, they will finish perhaps university before they see a computer, or they will get to university before they see a computer. Those are all practical living realities for them. In somebody's mind, to become like you, he has to go to the US. And so, stay in Ghana, for example, you cannot become a rocket scientist, a practicing rocket scientist in Ghana today as it is. Must they move out?
Not necessarily. Ghana, like I said, Ghana just launched the space program just this week. And that's why I'm in the country. One of the reasons for coming, both to visit my parents and also to participate in that.